Hunters always works out so well.
Yeah. So that's what they're protesting. This one of the most intelligent states. Wow.
Now, also on the same factor, when they talked about that protest, the liberal media promoted this thing, talking about how, the city's got to be ready for massive amounts of violence, and it's going to be, people are going to be getting killed, and they went on and on and on about saying how horrible this was going to be and how it shouldn't even happen.
Yeah, this was supposed to be. QAnon had said this was going to be a massacre. This was their.
Yeah.
This is their way of drawing out gun owners and slaughtering them.
Yeah. Meanwhile, nothing happened.
No.
Not one arrest.
And I haven't had a chance to look at what QAnon says, because this was supposed to be monumental in the events leading up to Trump taking over the world and exposing the evil deep state. This was supposed to be one of the big newsmakers, and virtually nothing happened. So I'm wondering what they're saying now about why nothing happened. Or
They're
what
they probably
how they prevented it secretly.
Yeah, exactly.
See how we prevented the violence from happening? We work in the shadows. Fuck off. Didn't show up and nothing happened. I wonder what these people are gonna do when the whole theory doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
When Trump does get impeached. Or if he doesn't, if he just fades away in 4 years and is nothing, I wonder what the excuse will be. I don't know. So what was the laziness?
So laziest.
Who are the laziest?
Okay, so the 7 laziest states. Now, hang on. Let's just pop back over here. So top 9 for the least educated. Oops. Hang on, for some reason my screen just slipped on the top. So at least educated, keep in mind, you had Tennessee, New Mexico, Nevada, South Carolina, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana, West Virginia, Mississippi. The least active in all the states, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
I would like to maybe tomorrow, if I have time, I would like to do the comparison and see where we're at with Canada.
Yes, that would be interesting to know.
Although in Canada, I'd say straight across the board, we're all pretty much the same education-wise.
Yeah,
and laziness, you can't really be lazy, because in BC you have to be active or you look like an idiot. And everywhere else, you actually have to work for a living. So,
I can tell you this: in Ontario, there's not as many. Like in BC, everybody's out for walks.
Yeah, well, that's right. You have to be active.
Yeah. In Ontario, not as much.
No.
But we also have bigger winters here, so it's not as active then either. So it's a little, a little bit different for weather-wise, but
I don't know. I don't think you could actually do that list. It would be very disappointing in Canada. There's not that, and there's not that divide. Like when you talk about uneducated in Mississippi, like that's not like uneducated here, which is the guy who just doesn't watch the news and maybe didn't finish high school because he's got a good job and just dropped out so he could work more or something. Like an uneducated Canadian is still knows how to read.
Yeah, exactly.
An uneducated guy in Mississippi hasn't figured out shoes. Like
he's got empty Kleenex boxes stuffed with paper towel.
Yeah, pretty much. And they keep melting in the rain, and it freaks him out. The rain is acid. Keeps melting my shoes.
Global warming.
It's global warming. It's so hot out, my shoes melted. No, they're made of paper, and you're standing in a puddle. You shut up, devil.
Right. That's exactly it. Most active areas in the nation. You've got, again, I'm going to recap
Tornado Alley, I'm sure.
You're right. I think being thrown by wind and actually running on your own, I think that's two different things.
Oh, rebuilding your house twice a year, that's got to be keep you in shape.
No doubt. To re-hit, well, it's not nearly as comparative, but to re-hit the list. So again, the most educated states, you got Massachusetts, Maryland, Colorado, Vermont, Connecticut, Virginia, Washington, New Hampshire, New Jersey, and Minnesota. And out of your most active, you've got Colorado, Washington, Utah, Oregon, and District of Columbia.
District of Columbia, I find that shocking.
Yeah, that's the one that got me too.
Colorado, best skiing in the world. That makes sense. They're pretty active there.
And Oregon makes sense because Oregon is pretty much just another extension of BC, so that just makes sense.
Yeah. Well, District of Columbia, I don't know. Politicians, I guess, run a lot. I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
that's cool.
That is, yeah, so there you go. So there's a little interesting thing.
That is interesting.
Oops. Hang on.
I don't know how it's going to help me take over the U.S. when I plan to, but we'll see.
We'll definitely figure a way. That's for sure. I want to brush over this one kind of quickly just because it kind of infuriates me and I don't want to dwell on it. So I just want to mention it and then move on. There's a 19-year-old guy who is suspected of killing 2 people and injuring 5 others in San Antonio. Apparently, he was at a club, and he pulled out a gun and fucking shot a bunch of people. Now, when the cops arrested him, this is insane. When the cops arrested him, they walked him out in handcuffs and in front of news cameras. And the guy literally spits out his Instagram handle and says, "That's me. I'm an up-and-coming artist."
That's cool. That's the way of the world now.
He promotes this thing. I mean, it's just insane.
He'll probably get a reality show out of it.
Oh, I'll guarantee it.
That's just how America is. And that's just goes to show what that country's become. And, like, I don't... A guy shot up some people in a nightclub. That's not even news anymore.
Now, trust me, I got to finish reading this because it's the last line that always gets me and everything. He said that he was acting in self-defense. Quote, "He told me he was going to kill me. He told me because I bumped into him, he was going to kill me." So now it's unclear which of the victims that he was referring to, but nonetheless, that's what he said. He said that he claims that he was targeted and someone pulled out a gun on him, but didn't get the chance to shoot because he got his out faster.
That's probably true.
Yeah. No, here's the best. This is literally how the article ends. Quote, "On the cool, I regret everything that I did." William said, "On the cool." On the cool. Oh.
Which one of the smart states is he from?
Oh.
It's just what this fucking country is. It's just that's just how America is in my mind, and I can't get emotional. I can't even care.
No, and I don't want to care because it's just fucking funny to me.
That's it. Just a bunch of retards shooting each other and then fighting stronger gun laws because they keep shooting each other. What do you mean I might not be able to shoot somebody today? Like, fuck it, just let them. Just legalize everything and let them go nuts.
Listen, let the purge happen.
Let them just start killing each other. Who gives a shit? I can't even care when... And, like, they've got no government right now. The government's so focused on this goddamn joke of a trial that doesn't need to be happening, really. Their only defense is that his super crimes aren't impeachable. Not that he didn't commit the crimes.
It's just not impeachable.
That doesn't come into their defense whatsoever. They're like, oh, yeah, he fucking did that shit.
But personally, that's my favorite thing about the whole thing.
Yeah, that's not even a question. Yeah, he did that shit. Everybody, like, who thinks he didn't do that shit? And all his own witnesses put up there. Yeah, he did that shit.
Well, keep in mind, even Trump himself said, "Yeah, I did it."
Everybody, but everybody that was supposed to say no, like, do you think the president did this? Oh, fuck yeah, I did this. I have proof. Everyone has stacks of proof. Everyone that's on his side showed up with stacks of proof that he did this shit. But out of the massive numbers of misdemeanors he's committed, they're not impeachable.
That's amazing.
If he wasn't the president, he'd be fucked, but not impeachable. Like, come on. No wonder. You're rallying. The worst gun law you could come up with is you're only allowed to buy one per month? How many do you fucking idiots need?
And that's who's buying more than one gun a month? Like, really?
Like, what do you? I don't even get that. I can't shoot it with that gun. I've had that since October. Gee, I'm not an animal.
It's a Tuesday. What the fuck am I doing with a Smith & Wesson?
I don't get it.
It's Colt Tuesday. Everybody knows that. Jesus.
It's already February. I only got one gun. There's a bad year. What? Get him like a commemorative gun set. Like, here we give out those coins every year. The post office comes up with a new set of coins you can buy.
You know the like wine of the month. You get the gun of the month club.
It's gun of the month. It's coming straight to your door.
Fully loaded. Open it up. Shoot your wife. It's fantastic.
Fucking ridiculous. How you can only really kill with one gun at a time. Like, how many do you need? You could, and this is where I want to go next month.
Yeah, I know.
This country. I'm going.
One thing I will say is when I was in Portland, first, like literally that afternoon, we show up, get to my friend's place. We're hanging around the backyard, just sort of shooting the shit, smokes of weed, relaxing, having a couple smokes and some beers. And as we're talking, we could hear this. We heard some like sort of like it sounded like backfiring from a car, and one of the guys like, I think that's a gunshot. I'm like it's like really. I've literally been here for an hour and I'm already hearing gunshots. Like, come on, like there's no way. There's no way. It's not that bad here. Sure enough, we go into the house a couple hours later, and 5 blocks away, there is a shooting at a mall. 5 people killed.
Yeah.
And we heard it. Technically, could have gotten hit by a stray bullet.
Portland's one of the better. Like, when Trump got elected, there were grown men crying on the news. They're definitely one of the better areas.
Yeah. So I thought that was really funny.
The whole country's just fucked. And that's not even, that trial's not even really underway yet. They're still arguing about the rules of the trial.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't get that. Like, they all have to agree on like the rules of how this trial is going to go down. And it doesn't even really, it's not even going to kick off until about Friday. And then it's
not have to be rules. Like, you think that shit is already predetermined,
right?
Like,
well, it's only law. It's only the 3rd time in history they've ever had to do it. And like the last one, it was like 1898, and then it was like 100 years before they had to do it again.
Yeah. Then you had Clinton,
and
which didn't work.
It's just amazing that I guess they just never. They thought, okay, like what we're gonna have to do this maybe once ever.
Yeah.
So we'll work out the rules when the time comes. It's probably never gonna happen. Everybody's gonna be so busy buying guns, they're not even gonna pay attention.
Exactly.
The other big thing that kicked off today, obviously, was Wang Manzu's or Zoom Wang Changmeng Huawei lady's trial. Her extradition hearing finally kicked off. She, in typical fashion, was just dressed to the nines and showing off her little ankle bracelet. The hard time she's had to do in her Vancouver mansion. But this is another one that's just become a joke because it's really another non-issue. It's like that the U.S. wants us to punish her for